He was caught peeking at the alien mercenary while she removed her outfit, what she did next. The space station hung silently in orbit around a small, dead planet. Its walls were scarred from years of conflict, and many of its systems were failing. Engineers and technicians worked tirelessly to keep it alive, but the station's age made every repair a challenge. Among the crew was Elias Ward, a human technician known for his intelligence and careful hands. He had been assigned to fix the life support systems that had begun to fail after a recent mercenary skirmish. Elias moved through the dim corridors, his tools clanking softly against his belt. The hum of the station's generators filled the empty halls, a constant reminder that life depended on careful maintenance. He was focused, determined to finish his work before the next supply ship arrived. Humans were often underestimated in these remote parts of space, but Elias liked it that way. It allowed him to work quietly and think clearly without unnecessary interference. As he turned a corner, he heard a faint noise from one of the maintenance chambers. Curious, he slowed, his mind automatically calculating what could be inside. Most of the time, it was just another repair panel, a broken pipe, or a small fire hazard. But this time, he made a mistake. He misread the sign and opened the door to the wrong chamber. Inside stood Kerala, an alien mercenary with a reputation that stretched across half the galaxy. She was tall, her frame lithe but powerful, her skin shimmering in muted shades of blue and silver. Her armor was badly damaged from a recent battle, and she was carefully removing it to inspect herself for injuries. The armor hissed as it disengaged from her body, and a soft, metallic scent filled the room. Elias froze. His eyes widened, and he realized instantly what he had done. He had stumbled into a private moment, a moment that no one was meant to see. Embarrassment burned through him, hot and sharp. He took a step back, stammering an apology. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to." Kerala turned slowly, her eyes meeting his. There was no anger there, no immediate threat, just calm observation. Humans were strange creatures, she thought. They seemed so delicate, so easily flustered, yet they could survive in the harshest environments. Her species viewed armor removal differently. It was a natural necessity, a practical act. The way humans reacted to accidental exposure was curious. Elias, realizing he had nowhere to go, quickly turned fully and backed out of the chamber, trying to cover his eyes with one hand. I'll leave. I won't disturb you again," he shouted, his voice echoing in the empty corridor. Kerala raised an eyebrow. In her culture, shame was not a concept like it was for humans. Instead of responding with anger, she studied him carefully. He was small, yes, and physically weaker than her, but there was something in the way he held himself. He had looked away immediately, avoided disrespect, and his voice, though panicked, carried honesty. Few creatures in the galaxy were so quick to admit a mistake. Elias hurried down the corridor, his heart still racing. He kept repeating his apology in his head, over and over, as if saying it enough times might erase the memory of what he had seen. "I can't believe I did that," he muttered under his breath. "She could kill me, and she would be right to." Meanwhile, Kerala returned to inspecting her armor, now removed and laid carefully on a nearby table. She considered what she had witnessed. Humans were strange indeed, but perhaps they had value beyond what most mercenaries recognized. She filed the incident in her memory as a curiosity, nothing more, for now. Later, Elias continued his work, double-checking the life support panels. The station's oxygen levels were dropping faster than expected. He worked quickly, pausing only to take deep breaths and calm his nerves. The accident earlier had rattled him more than he wanted to admit. After finishing a section of the repairs, he heard the sound of footsteps behind him. Spinning around, he saw Kerala approaching, her stride confident but measured. Elias froze, certain he was about to face a lethal reaction. But she stopped a few meters away and spoke, her voice calm and even. "You humans react to shame in strange ways," she said. Her accent was soft, melodic, but carried a tone of curiosity. "Why do you hide from what is natural?" Elias swallowed hard, unsure of how to respond. It's a cultural thing," he said finally. "Humans value privacy and respect. We don't like to be seen in certain states without permission." Kerala tilted her head. She had seen countless species, all with their own strange codes of honor, but humans were unlike any of them. Their restraint was impressive. She studied him carefully, noting the honesty in his eyes. "Interesting," she said simply. Among my people, removing armor is a sign of trust. If you had looked, it would not have offended me, though you did so accidentally. Perhaps you have more courage than you realize. Elias blinked, taken aback. Courage. He had felt fear the moment he saw her exposed, and now she was calling it courage. I didn't mean to, he said, still embarrassed. I just turned away as soon as I realized. Your species is unusual, Kerala replied. Most others would have stared or fled or acted without thought. You acted with caution. That is worthy of respect. As she turned to leave, Elias noticed a small smirk cross her face. It was a fleeting expression, but it carried something human-like, something almost approving. His embarrassment eased slightly, replaced by a mix of confusion and curiosity. That night, the station was quiet. Elias sat in the control room, reviewing schematics and checking system logs. He could still feel the tension from earlier, the memory of being caught in such an awkward situation. Yet he couldn't shake a sense of admiration for the mercenary. She was strong, skilled, and fearless, and she had respected him in return despite the circumstances. Meanwhile, Kerala walked through the station, her thoughts equally occupied. The human had acted differently than expected. Most weaker species would have panicked or lied to save themselves. This one, he had honesty and restraint. Perhaps humans were more dangerous than they appeared, not in brute strength but in cunning and morality. The next morning, Elias returned to the maintenance chambers, this time with full knowledge of where he could and could not go. He continued his work repairing the life support systems, but he noticed Kerala observing from a distance, silently assessing him. She did not approach, but her presence was unmistakable. For Elias, this was unnerving. He had been caught in a compromising situation, and yet he felt safer oddly with her nearby. He realized that humans often judged others too quickly, assuming the worst. Here, a mercenary, feared across the galaxy, was showing something humans valued most: honor and understanding. As repairs continued, a subtle tension formed between them. Neither fully understood the other yet, but there was a silent agreement. Respect had been established, and curiosity had been sparked. Both knew that the station held dangers beyond each other: pirates, mercenary rivalries, and the instability of the station itself. But for now, they were forced to share the same space, navigating both repair and interaction. Elias had learned a lesson that day. Humans were clever, but so were their choices. One small act of restraint, turning away in a moment of embarrassment, had earned the respect of a being who could easily have ended him. And Kerala, for her part, realized that humans might not be physically strong, but their morality and cleverness made them unpredictable and dangerous in ways most mercenaries could not anticipate. By the end of the day, the station's life support systems were partially repaired, though not fully stabilized. Elias knew he had more work to do, but he felt a quiet sense of pride. He had survived an awkward encounter without incident, gained the notice of one of the galaxy's deadliest warriors, and proven that humans could act with honor even in the most uncomfortable situations. As he prepared to leave the maintenance chamber, he looked once more at Kerala, who was already moving down the corridor with silent confidence. For a moment, their eyes met, and Elias understood something profound. In the galaxy, strength came in many forms. And sometimes the quiet courage of a human could surprise even the most seasoned warrior. The stage was set. Neither fully understood the other yet, but the spark had been lit. The station was quiet, but in its silence, a story was beginning. A story of trust, honor, and the unexpected ways humans could influence the galaxy. The space station's corridors hummed with low energy as morning light from the nearby star filtered through small viewing ports. Elias Ward walked briskly to the life support panel he had been repairing, his tools clinking softly against his belt. He was trying to shake off the memory of the previous day, how he had accidentally entered Kerala's chamber. He had expected anger, perhaps even a lethal warning from the mercenary. Instead, he had received curiosity. Humans often underestimated the significance of being noticed by someone powerful, but Elias knew this was unusual. Kerala could have ended him with a thought, yet she had not. As he worked, a shadow passed across the control room's wall. He looked up, startled. Kerala stood at the entrance, her posture calm and measured. She had removed her battle armor for inspection, but now she wore simple maintenance robes, the kind her crew used while repairing ships. Her eyes studied him, keen and unyielding. "You continue your work," she said, her voice even and clear. Good, that is wise. Elias swallowed. He had no idea whether to respond formally or casually. Yes, ma'am, he stammered. I am finishing the repairs on the life support systems. Oxygen levels are stable, but I need a few more hours. She stepped closer, her gaze never leaving his. You humans are strange, she said softly. When you feel embarrassment, you shrink, yet you do not flee when danger approaches. You are curious creatures. Elias paused. Most mercenaries he had heard of did not offer commentary on human psychology. They acted, killed, or demanded. Rarely did they observe. I guess it is part of who we are, he said carefully. We try to act with respect when we can, even if it makes us feel awkward. Kerala tilted her head, considering his words. She had traveled the galaxy, seen countless species, and most relied on brute strength, deception, or fear to survive. Humans, however, were different. They were fragile in appearance, yet strong in ways she had not yet fully measured. Elia's behavior was an example of this quiet strength. You are not like most weaker species, she observed. Many would have panicked, lied, or acted dishonorably. You faced your mistake and accepted it. That is unusual. Elias felt a mix of relief and confusion. So you're not angry? He asked cautiously. I am curious, Kerala replied. You embarrassed yourself, yet your restraint earned my attention. Among my people, respect is shown through actions. You acted in a way I did not expect. That matters more than words. The words sank in slowly. Elias realized that, for once, someone was judging him not by his size, strength, or appearance, but by his character. It was a rare moment in the galaxy, one that left a human feeling proud. Over the next several hours, Kerala observed Elias from a distance. She did not speak much, but her presence was noticeable. Elias noticed her too, and though he tried to focus on the repairs, he felt her eyes on him constantly. It was unnerving, but also strangely motivating. He worked with precision, ensuring every valve, pipe, and conduit functioned perfectly. Your species values privacy, she said finally, breaking the silence. Yet you do not hide from danger. Tell me, human, why do you act with caution when unnecessary and with courage when it is required? Elias paused, thinking carefully. I suppose humans have learned that strength comes in many forms. Physical strength is useful, yes. But thinking, planning, and acting with respect, that can save lives too. That is what I try to do. Kerala considered this. Many species she had met relied on overwhelming force to solve problems. Humans relied on ingenuity, empathy, and subtle action. That combination made them unpredictable and, in her view, dangerous. She made a mental note to observe humans more closely. As the day progressed, the station's alarms suddenly blared. A breach had been detected in the cargo hold. Elias and Kerala rushed toward the source, moving with urgency. Pirates were attempting to infiltrate the station, seeking valuable technology and supplies. Elias led the way, relying on his knowledge of the station's systems to create barricades and reroute oxygen flows. Kerala followed, her combat training allowing her to move efficiently, scanning for threats. They worked in tandem, instinctively coordinating without many words. You humans fight differently than your appearance suggests, Kerala noted as she disabled a pirate drone with a swift strike. You do not rely solely on brute force. Elias smiled faintly. Brains often beat brawn, he said. Even a pirate knows that. Together, they cornered a group of intruders near the central conduit. Elias had set up a trap, using the station's systems to seal doors and redirect power. Kerala, meanwhile, moved with precision, incapacitating the pirates with non-lethal strikes. After the confrontation, Kerala looked at Elias with newfound respect. You are clever, she said simply. Many humans would have panicked, but you turned the environment itself into a weapon. You use your mind, not just your hands. That is rare. Elias felt a surge of pride. He had never considered himself a warrior, yet his actions had saved both himself and the station. More importantly, he had earned the recognition of someone far stronger than himself. Later, when the station was secure, they spoke again. Kerala shared stories of battles she had fought across the galaxy, of species who relied on intimidation and fear. Elias listened, fascinated, and realized that humans often survived not by strength, but by cleverness and moral choices. You humans are dangerous in unexpected ways, Kerala said, her tone thoughtful. Your ability to act with honor even when frightened makes you unpredictable. That is a valuable trait. Elias nodded. And your species values strength above all else, he said. But maybe there is more to winning than strength. Maybe thinking and caring for others matters too. Kerala smiled slightly. It was a rare expression for her, one that showed a hint of approval. Perhaps we can learn from each other, she said. The night fell, casting the station in dim light. Elias sat in the control room, reviewing schematics once more, but his mind was not entirely on work. He thought of Kerala and the strange respect they had formed. In a galaxy full of danger, it was rare to find someone who could see value beyond size, strength, or species. Meanwhile, Kerala walked through the corridors, considering the human before her. He was cautious, clever, and most importantly, honorable. In her line of work, honor was often a forgotten concept. Humans seemed to cling to it, even in the smallest ways. That made them unpredictable, and therefore dangerous in a way most mercenaries could not anticipate. By the end of the day, Elias had repaired most of the station's life support systems. Though there were still issues to fix, he felt a quiet satisfaction. He had survived an awkward encounter, protected the station, and impressed a being who could have crushed him effortlessly. Kerala, for her part, returned to her quarters. She checked her weapons and reviewed the security logs. The human had acted with honor, and she had observed it firsthand. His species was different from anything she had encountered before. She would need to pay attention to them in the future. As sleep overtook the station, a subtle connection had formed between them. Neither fully understood the other yet, but the spark of curiosity and respect had been ignited. Elias had learned that humans could influence others not just through force, but through action and character. Kerala had learned that humans, though small and seemingly fragile, could be unexpectedly strong in ways few others could predict. And so, in the quiet of the station, two unlikely allies began to understand one another. Trust, honor, and curiosity had laid the first stones of a bond that would shape not just their lives, but the course of events far beyond the station's walls. The space station was never truly quiet. Even in the dim hours of space, distant alarms and the hum of machinery created a constant background noise. Elias Ward was working in the life support room when a loud klaxon pierced the air. Red warning lights flashed, illuminating the room with urgent urgency. "Not again," Elias muttered, tightening his grip on the toolkit. The life support systems were stable for now, but trouble always seemed to find them. Kerala appeared in the doorway, her posture alert and ready. Her eyes scanned the corridor before meeting his. "Pirates," she said simply. "They are testing the station's defenses. We need to act quickly." Elias' mind raced. He had been trained in maintenance, not combat. But he had learned a lot from observing Kerala's precision and from the minor training he received for station emergencies. "Where should I go?" he asked. "Stay close," she said. "Follow my lead. Do not act recklessly, but do not hesitate either. Trust your instincts." The corridor ahead was dark and narrow, with pipes running along the walls. The pirates had already breached the outer hull, using small transport pods to enter unnoticed. Kerala moved with confidence, her eyes flicking from shadow to shadow, assessing threats and potential traps. Elias followed, keeping low and silent, clutching a small energy wrench that could double as a blunt weapon if necessary. The first encounter came quickly. A small group of pirate drones moved down the corridor, scanning for life signs. Kerala motioned to Elias to stay back. She struck swiftly, disabling the drones with precise strikes that neutralized them without causing explosions that could damage the station. Elias watched, learning from her timing and focus. When the corridor was clear, he spoke quietly. "I could try to help," he said. "Good," she replied. "But remember, intelligence is your weapon, not strength. You can outthink them, lead them into traps." "Use the station systems." Elias nodded, his heart pounding. He had studied the station's schematics for years. He knew every maintenance hatch, every vent, and every emergency panel. In a moment of clarity, he realized he could use this knowledge to his advantage. "Follow me," he whispered. "There's a maintenance shaft nearby. We can funnel them into it." Kerala raised an eyebrow but did not question him. She had already learned that humans were clever in subtle ways, and their resourcefulness was often underestimated. Together, they moved through a series of narrow corridors and maintenance tunnels, carefully positioning themselves. When the pirates approached, Elias triggered a sequence of doors to close behind them, slowing their advance and confusing them. Kerala struck from the shadows, her movements fluid and calculated, incapacitating one pirate after another. Elias used his knowledge of the station to manipulate the environment. He rerouted ventilation, creating clouds of steam that masked their movements. He activated alarms in certain sections, drawing pirate attention away from critical areas. Each action was small, but together they turned the tide of the encounter. Kerala finally paused, looking at him with approval. "You humans are dangerous when you combine thought with action," she said. "Many would panic, you adapt." Elias felt a swell of pride. "I'm just using what I know," he said, catching his breath. Brains over brawn. They continued their advance, moving toward the central command room where the pirates' main group was trying to access the station's systems. Elias had already anticipated this. Using access panels he had installed himself, he created false pathways for the pirates' sensors. They were being guided into corridors that led nowhere or trapped areas where Kerala could handle them easily. One of the pirate leaders, a tall humanoid with a scarred face, realized the deception. He snarled into his communicator, calling for backup, but it was too late. The station itself had become a weapon, controlled by Elias' clever manipulations. Kerala moved like a shadow through the halls, neutralizing threats before they could react. Her strikes were precise, disabling pirates without unnecessary force. Elias coordinated the systems, rerouting power to sealed doors, creating smoke screens, and activating emergency lights to disorient the invaders. The battle reached a climax in the central conduit. Pirates crowded into the area, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found themselves trapped, facing both an alien warrior and a human who had transformed the environment into a deadly puzzle. "You humans are impressive," Kerala said as she engaged the remaining attackers. "You fight differently. You think beyond immediate danger." Elias ducked behind a reinforced panel, activating a pressure valve that released a burst of steam, knocking two pirates off balance. He moved quickly to lock a door behind them, effectively cutting off their retreat. Kerala incapacitated the remaining attackers, leaving the pirates trapped and disarmed. When the final drone fell, silence returned to the station. Elias and Kerala stood amidst the scattered enemies, breathing heavily but victorious. The station was secure, for now. "You were brilliant," Kerala said, turning to him. "You did not rely on strength alone, you used your mind. That is rare in this galaxy." Elias felt a mix of relief and pride. "I learned from watching you," he said. "Your skill, it's incredible. I just tried to think ahead." Kerala's eyes softened, showing a rare expression of admiration. "Humans are underestimated," she said. "Small, fragile, and yet capable of extraordinary things. You remind me that strength is not only in the arm, but in the mind and the heart." Elias nodded. "We have to be clever. We can't always rely on strength alone." The night fell over the station, and the crew began to restore order. Systems were checked, security protocols reviewed, and minor repairs performed. Despite the chaos, Elias felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had faced danger, survived, and demonstrated that humans could act with intelligence and honor under pressure. Kerala, meanwhile, reviewed the station's logs. She had seen the human in action and was impressed. His species was underestimated, yet their combination of thought and courage made them unpredictable. In a galaxy where force often ruled, humans had a different kind of power. As the station quieted, Elias and Kerala met once more in the maintenance chamber. "You handled yourself well today," she said. "Your actions may have saved lives, including mine." "You did most of the work," Elias replied modestly. "I just helped where I could." "Do not underestimate your contribution," she said firmly. "A human act of cleverness can turn the tide. Today it did." Elias felt a warmth he could not explain. In the midst of danger, he had found recognition not just from a human superior, but from a being whose judgment mattered across the galaxy. He realized that humans, though small and seemingly fragile, had a strength that went beyond physical ability. Kerala studied him for a moment longer. "You may be weak by some standards," she said, "but your mind and heart make you formidable. Remember this." Elias nodded, understanding the weight of her words. He had survived an impossible situation and proven that humans were more than what others assumed. His species had cunning, morality, and courage that could challenge even the most skilled mercenaries. By the end of the day, the station's systems were stabilized, and the immediate threat was neutralized. Yet both Elias and Kerala knew that more challenges awaited them. Pirates, rival mercenary crews, and the inherent dangers of space travel would test them further. Still, a bond had formed. Respect had been earned, and understanding had begun. Elias had shown that humans could act with honor and intelligence, even in the face of lethal threats. Kerala had learned that humans were not weak. They were unpredictable, clever, and capable of acts that could surprise even the most experienced warriors. As Elias prepared for another long night of maintenance, he looked at Kerala. "I think we make a good team," he said quietly. She nodded. "Yes, strange but effective. Humans are unpredictable. That is your greatest strength." The station's lights flickered softly, and for the first time in weeks, Elias felt a glimmer of hope. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but humans had a way of surviving and even thriving through courage, ingenuity, and honor. In the quiet of the station, two unlikely allies understood one another better than ever. The bond between human and mercenary had been forged not in friendship, but in respect, courage, and shared experience. And in the galaxy beyond, the ripple of their actions would be felt in ways neither could yet imagine. The space station hung quietly in orbit, its corridors still echoing with the aftermath of the pirate attack. Elias Ward had finished the emergency repairs for the day, but the calm was only temporary. Pirates rarely gave up so easily, and he knew that their earlier defeat would not stop them from trying again. He was reviewing a set of schematics when the warning lights flashed red, accompanied by the harsh blare of alarms. The station's sensors detected multiple small craft approaching the outer hull. Elias' stomach tightened. "Not again," he muttered. Kerala appeared beside him, her eyes scanning the sensors. "They've returned," she said. "This time they have reinforcements. We cannot handle them all here. You need to move to the command center. I'll cover you." Elias hesitated. I can't leave the civilians behind." "Neither will I," Kerala replied firmly. "But you need to survive to protect them. Follow me." They moved swiftly through the narrow corridors, avoiding patrols and bypassing damaged sections of the station. The pirates were organized this time, using drones and small boarding pods to infiltrate the structure. Their leader, a human-like figure with a scarred face and cold eyes, seemed to anticipate every move. Despite Kerala's strength and experience, a sudden trap caught Elias off guard. He was pushed into a narrow passage by a group of pirates, who quickly restrained him and moved him toward a holding area. Panic surged through him. "Elias," Kerala shouted from behind, her voice sharp and commanding. She engaged the pirates immediately, her strikes precise and controlled. But she was outnumbered. The pirates knew her tactics and tried to separate her from him. Elias struggled, but the restraints were strong. The pirates moved him through the station, ignoring alarms and damaged systems. He realized that if they reached the docking bay, they could escape with him and leave the station in chaos. He had to think quickly. Using his knowledge of the station, he subtly activated a nearby panel with his hand, sending a small burst of electrical energy through the floor. The pirates faltered, giving him just enough time to slip from one of their grips. He ducked behind a bulkhead, taking a deep breath. Kerala had dispatched several pirates already, but she saw the larger group preparing to retreat with him. She faced a decision. Her contract as a mercenary demanded that she withdraw. Rescuing him could mean punishment or even exile from her crew. Yet, her own sense of honor and growing respect for the human conflicted with orders. Elias ducked and peeked around the bulkhead. "Kerala." "I'm here," he whispered urgently. She nodded once, understanding his position. Then, with a fluid movement, she disengaged from her assigned role and stepped fully into the corridor. Her weapons were ready, and her stance was both protective and commanding. "You will not take him," she said firmly, her voice carrying a weight that made even seasoned pirates pause. The pirates hesitated. They had underestimated the alien mercenary once before, but now they realized that she valued something more than money or orders. She valued honor, and she had decided that humans, at least this one, were worth protecting. The first pirate lunged, but Kerala met him with a precise strike, knocking him unconscious. Elias watched, his heart pounding, amazed at her skill and bravery. He could not have predicted this. She had risked everything for him, a human she had only recently met. Elias activated another control panel, locking doors behind them and rerouting power to create obstacles in the corridor. The pirates, caught off guard by both human cleverness and alien skill, struggled to maintain their advance. One of the pirate leaders, realizing they were losing, fired a warning shot. Kerala's reflexes were lightning fast. She deflected the shot with her weapon, moving with precision that left no room for error. Elias ducked behind a console, but he was learning. He was beginning to understand that survival in the galaxy required more than strength. It required quick thinking, courage, and the ability to act when others hesitated. Together, Elias and Kerala made their way toward the central docking bay. Elias used the station systems to disable the pirates' transport pods, while Kerala engaged any remaining attackers. The coordination between human and alien, though unspoken, was seamless. "You are clever," Kerala said, as she paused briefly to assess their progress. "Your species' ability to adapt quickly is remarkable. I underestimated you." Elias smiled faintly, though his heart still raced. "Brains over brawn," he replied. "I'm learning from the best." The final group of pirates cornered them near the docking bay. Escape seemed impossible. Elias' mind raced as he considered the layout of the station. He spotted an emergency shuttle pod nearby, small, but enough to carry one person. If he could reach it, he might be able to divert the pirates and save the station. "Kerala, the pod," he whispered. She nodded, understanding immediately. Together, they created a diversion. Kerala struck decisively, disabling the pirates in waves, while Elias activated the pod's emergency launch system. The pod's doors opened, and he prepared to pilot it manually, knowing that timing was critical. The pirate leader lunged at Elias, but Kerala intercepted, knocking him off balance. Elias dove into the pod and initiated launch. The pod shot forward, creating a sudden explosion of movement that drew the remaining pirates away from the station. Kerala followed closely behind, her skills unmatched, ensuring that Elias could escape safely. As the pod reached a safe distance from the station, Elias looked back. Kerala had risked everything for him. Her armor was damaged, her energy reserves low, but she had chosen honor over orders. In that moment, Elias understood the depth of her character. "You saved me," he said quietly, still catching his breath. "And you have proven your worth," she replied. "Humans may appear weak, but their intelligence and courage make them formidable. Today, you demonstrated that. That is why I acted." Elias realized that the galaxy often judged humans by appearances alone. He had seen firsthand that strength was not always physical. A human mind, combined with honor and courage, could change outcomes in ways many species did not anticipate. The pod returned to the station's inner docking area, where the systems had stabilized. The remaining pirates were captured or had retreated, their plans thwarted by human and alien cooperation. The station was secure once more, but both Elias and Kerala knew that challenges would continue to arrive. Kerala lowered her stance, her breathing steady despite the adrenaline. "You understand now," she said, "that survival is not just about fighting. It is about thinking, adapting, and choosing when to act. That is what makes humans remarkable." Elias nodded. "I understand, and I've learned that honor matters too. Even when the right choice is dangerous, doing what is right can change everything." She gave a rare smile. "You humans may be small and seemingly fragile, but you have a power that many larger species lack. You act with intelligence and integrity. That is more dangerous than any weapon." For the first time, Elias felt that humans might truly have a place in the galaxy's complex hierarchy. Not through fear or strength, but through thought, honor, and courage. He realized that his species had survived not because of physical dominance, but because of qualities that others often overlooked. That night, the station's lights dimmed to normal levels. Elias repaired minor damages while Kerala inspected her equipment. They worked in quiet cooperation, each respecting the other's skills and judgment. There was no need for words. The bond forged through battle and shared decisions was stronger than any verbal agreement. As sleep approached, Elias reflected on the day's events. He had faced capture, witnessed courage, and learned the true value of intellect and honor. He had survived because he acted with thought and morality, and he had been saved by someone who valued those traits above contract or profit. Kerala, too, considered the events. She had defied orders to uphold a principle that she rarely observed: respect for life and honor above all else. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but that unpredictability was what made them formidable. Elias had earned her trust and respect, and in the vast galaxy, that was no small feat. By the end of the day, both knew that the station had changed, not just in its systems, but in the relationships formed within its walls. Trust, courage, and honor had reshaped the connection between human and alien mercenary. and the galaxy beyond would feel the ripple of their choices in ways neither could yet predict. For Elias, it was a lesson in the value of intelligence, morality, and courage. For Kerala, it was a reminder that honor could outweigh contracts, and that humans, despite their size, were a species to be respected. In the quiet aftermath, both stood together, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that survival depended not only on strength, but on the choices they made, and on the unexpected bonds formed in moments of crisis. The station was quiet now, almost eerily so. Outside, the dark expanse of space stretched endlessly, punctuated by the faint glow of distant stars. Elias Ward moved carefully through the corridors, checking systems and making minor repairs. He could feel the lingering tension from the recent attacks, but for the first time, a sense of relief and accomplishment accompanied him. Kerala walked beside him, her movements calm but alert. She had taken the time to inspect the station's damage, repair her armor as best she could, and ensure that the remaining pirates had no chance of returning. Her focus was sharp, and her eyes occasionally flicked toward Elias with an expression he was still learning to interpret, one that mixed curiosity, respect, and quiet approval. "You handled yourself well," Kerala said, her voice low but steady. "You understand the station better than I expected. That knowledge, combined with your quick thinking, saved many lives." Elias shook his head, modest as always. "I only used what I knew. You were the one taking down the pirates." "I just guided them where they couldn't hurt anyone." Kerala's eyes narrowed slightly, her gaze assessing him. "Many would underestimate your species. They see humans as weak, fragile, and inexperienced, but you prove otherwise. Strength is not only measured in arms or weapons. Intelligence, honor, and courage are more powerful than most give credit for." Elias felt a flush of pride. In a galaxy that often valued strength above all else, having someone like Kerala recognize his worth was remarkable. "Thank you," he said quietly. "I've learned a lot from you too. Your skills, they're incredible." Kerala tilted her head. "And yet I have learned from you, you act with caution when necessary and with courage when required. You value life, not just victory. That is a rare trait." The station's alarms suddenly blared again, more urgent than before. Both Elias and Kerala froze. A new threat had been detected, an incoming pirate vessel attempting to take advantage of the station's previous vulnerabilities. "They're persistent," Elias muttered. "But this time we'll be ready," Kerala nodded. "We must act together. Your knowledge, my skill, we can neutralize them before they even reach the station." Together they moved quickly, preparing defenses and coordinating their strategy. Elias accessed the station's communication and sensor systems, creating false signals to confuse the approaching pirates. Kerala positioned herself at key choke points, ready to intercept any intruders who made it past the automated defenses. When the pirate vessel arrived, they were met with a carefully orchestrated trap. Doors sealed automatically, pathways rerouted, and the station's internal defenses activated in perfect timing. The pirates' sensors were overwhelmed by false readings, and their drones were neutralized before they could cause harm. Elias guided the system with precision, anticipating every move of the enemy. His mind raced as he calculated probabilities, predicted pirate behavior, and coordinated Kerala's actions with the station's automated systems. It was a test of intellect and strategy, not just strength. Kerala moved through the corridors with unmatched skill, disabling the remaining pirates who had managed to board the station. Her strikes were precise, measured, and effective. She never wasted energy, never struck without purpose. The efficiency of her combat impressed even Elias, who had seen her at work before. "You humans adapt quickly," Kerala observed as she dispatched a group of attackers. "Your thinking is fast, and you use your environment wisely. That is why you survive where others fail." Elias nodded, focusing on the station systems. "We've survived this far because we think ahead, planning, adapting, that's what keeps us alive." The final confrontation occurred in the central command chamber. The pirate leader, realizing his crew was failing, attempted to manually override the station's systems. Elias anticipated this and had already created a countermeasure. As the leader approached the console, alarms triggered, isolating him from the systems and locking all access points. Kerala entered the chamber, calm and commanding. "It is over," she said. "Your attempts end here." The pirate leader froze, realizing that human intelligence and alien skill had combined to outmatch him. Elia's quick thinking, paired with Kerala's combat prowess, had turned the station into an impenetrable fortress. With the leader captured and the remaining pirates neutralized, the station was finally secure. The lights returned to normal, and the quiet hum of life support systems filled the corridors. Elias breathed a deep sigh of relief, feeling the weight of the past days' challenges lift slightly. Kerala approached him, her expression unreadable for a moment before softening. "You have proven more than your species' reputation," she said. "Humans are clever, courageous, and honorable. Today you showed all three. That is why I acted to protect you, despite the risks." Elias looked at her, understanding the gravity of her words. I never expected someone like you to risk everything for me." She smiled faintly. "It was not only for you. It was for what you represent. A species that values intelligence and honor can change the balance of the galaxy. You remind me that not all strength comes from weapons." For the first time, Elias felt that humans truly had a place in the galaxy. Not through fear or physical power, but through intelligence, moral courage, and careful decision-making. He had survived impossible situations and proven that humans could influence outcomes in ways even powerful mercenaries could not predict. Kerala spent the next few hours inspecting the station, ensuring no hidden threats remained. She reviewed logs, checked security systems, and made minor repairs to her equipment. Elias assisted, coordinating with her to optimize the station's defenses. The cooperation between human and alien was seamless, a testament to the bond that had formed under extreme pressure. When their work was complete, they stood together in the observation deck, looking out at the vast expanse of stars. The station floated silently, a small haven in the dangerous reaches of space. "You will continue to improve," Kerala said. "Your species has potential beyond what I imagined. Intelligence, courage, honor, these are more valuable than any weapon. Never forget that." Elias nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "I won't. Humans may be underestimated, but we survive through what others overlook, thinking, caring, and acting with purpose." Kerala's gaze softened. "Perhaps there is hope for the galaxy yet," she said quietly. "Especially if humans continue to act as you do." As the station quieted for the night, Elias felt a sense of accomplishment and clarity. He had faced danger, proven his worth, and formed an unexpected alliance that would shape his future. Kerala had risked her life for him, and in return he had shown that humans were not weak. They were capable, resourceful, and honorable. Before she departed for her own missions, Kerala approached Elias one final time. "Remember this," she said. "Humans have a quiet power. Use it wisely, protect those who cannot protect themselves, honor your choices, and the galaxy will remember you." Elias nodded, feeling the gravity of her message. "I will. Thank you, Kerala, for everything." With a final nod, she departed the station, her ship slipping into the starry void. Elias watched until she disappeared from view, understanding that the galaxy had just witnessed the potential of humans, not through strength or fear, but through courage, cleverness, and honor. He returned to his work, repairing minor systems and ensuring the station remained safe. Yet he felt a profound sense of purpose. Humans had survived countless challenges in the galaxy, not by dominating others, but by thinking, acting wisely, and upholding principles even in the face of danger. And in that moment, Elias understood something fundamental. The galaxy could underestimate humanity all it wanted, but one clever human with honor and courage could make a difference that echoed far beyond their small corner of space. The station's lights glimmered softly, a beacon of safety and hope. Elias stood in quiet reflection, knowing that the events of these days had changed not only him, but also the way an entire species viewed humans. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Strength was not always measured in power, weapons, or numbers. Sometimes it was measured in intelligence, morality, and the courage to act rightly when it mattered most. And as he looked out at the endless stars, Elias knew that humanity's story in the galaxy was only just beginning.